Hey guys, welcome back to yet another I Hearth You King of the Hill. I'm Doa, that's Artosis, and we are here to see more history be made. Potentially Tice going for his possible 7th win in a row. That's actually like multiple months of not losing in the I Hearth You King of the Hill. This is getting a little bit insane.
It's too insane. Look at this lineup too. Twisted, Strife Crow, Spo, Nimsh, Alesh, Hosty.
Dude.
What? It's so crazy what he's done here. Like, I wanna be like, well, maybe this will be the week where Tice dies, but he's shown that he can absolutely crush anyone. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna happen until it happens. You know, you can't like make any assumptions anymore. It's like, well, maybe this is finally the guy who does it. We just have to like see the games and find out. But we've got hyped from Team Tempo Storm today, and I guess it's appropriate that we've heard a lot of like hype about this guy.
Yeah, indeed. Every top guy, whenever I talk to them about hyped, is like, this guy is insanely good. What a talent. A really strong player, so definitely has a chance to take out Tice here.
All right, well, we've said that 7 weeks in a row now, but we'll see if we're right this time. And the first deck, it looks like it's going to be Forsen, which is a rogue deck. A little bit of Miracle Rogue action going on. Of course, Forsen doing a lot for that deck over the last few months.
Indeed. Forsen is like one of these big players of Miracle Rogue. You know, even back in the Fight Night days, he was using Miracle a lot and had like ridiculous amounts of success with it. It's and we see that this version obviously is something that's inspired by him, and if we take a look at it, it's got a couple Sinister Strikes in there, which we're seeing every now and then. 2 Phantom Knives, only 1 Earthen Ring.
I mean, it's kind of got a little bit of flavor from the Malagos rogue that Forsen himself was running for a little while. So I like this. I love how Miracle Rogue has been around for so long, but we always see these little variations come up basically every week. There's something new people are trying out.
Absolutely, and a lot of it's stylistic, a lot of it's metagamey, so it's cool to see. I mean, Sinister Strike for 1 mana, 3 damage, and then you have 3 guys in here with spell power, right? So wait, no, actually, he does have
he
Blood
have 3?
Mage.
Okay,
and Blood Mage and 2 Azures, so definitely can deal some extra damage there. So.
Sure can. Well, I like Tice's choice though for his first deck. I mean, right now, at this point in time in Hearthstone, I think Shaman is absolutely like the best first choice of a class to go with, because
the best?
I do actually, because I feel like Shaman is like the lesser Druid right now. You know, it has a lot of the same strengths that Druid does in that it's pretty good against everything, but it's not quite as good as Druid, so you get to save Druid for later.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's a good start.
I like opening Druid a lot, and I like opening Rogue a lot, but you know, it isn't a bad opener. The thing is, this is one of its very hardest matchups in Miracle Rogue.
Unquestionably,
This can be really, really tough, especially if they get a Blade Fury and a Deadly Poison. Like, they'll clear out your wolves, they'll clear out your totems. I don't like the matchup as Shaman going up against Miracle very much at all. Whereas when I'm playing Miracle, when I see a Shaman, I'm like, alright, sick. Free star right there.
Yeah, it's hard to predict what you're going to play against first. And so, you know, the kind of the bad luck of the draw there, I guess. But, like, you know, a lot of people, I feel like I've seen a lot of Shaman mirrors in, like, first games of Best of, too, lately.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Well, I mean, it is a deck that can just kill you as well. You know, if he gets a nice draw, you can kill him pretty quickly. There's a lot of ways you can get aggressive here with those Flame Tongues and whatnot. But
now, what do you think about the one Argent Commander and 2 Fire Elementals? Because we've seen people kind of like flip around those cards for so long with Shaman, and it's been usually either one or the other. You know, you don't see both included too often. Certainly not 2 of each. But how do you feel about the 1 Commander, 2 Fire Elemental right now?
I think you always play 2 Fire.
You gotta always play 2 Fire.
But like, how many Argents do you play? Like, what I used to always like when I played a lot of Shaman was using 2 Argents if I'm using Wind Fury instead of Alakir.
Yeah, that's kind of the key, is that Wind Fury is sort of the linchpin of a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. But I mean, 1 Argent's fine. You know, it gives him 3 6-drops. It's a great card in Shaman, just another way for you to gain even more card advantage. So overall, it looks like a really solid, really strong deck.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff, and we'll see if Tice, I guess, can get an early lead in the series and go up 1-0 on Hyped, or we'll see if the Hyped is real. It's time to get into game number 1. Alright guys, Tice versus Hyped, game number 1 of the I Hearth You King of the Hill. Tice going for his 7th win in a row. Pretty insane stuff. Shaman versus Miracle Rogue, and Hyped making some decisions there. Do you really want to keep this Shiv against Shaman?
Shiv is okay just because it cycles really quickly. You know, the thing is, if you don't have a Shiv, a lot of times turn 2 is just daggering up and passing. So
You know, the
I think
other
it's
thing-
like okay. I oftentimes keep one Shiv in a 4-card hand, like when I get the coin.
You know, the thing is, too, is that there's not a lot of targets for Shiv anyway against Shamans, so like you said, you might as well cycle it early on. That makes sense.
Yeah, I just feel like that's basically what Shiv's in there for, is
Yeah.
to cycle. So, pretty good to get rid of it early on.
Well, a pass from Thijs, as you would expect.
And I like the hand from Hyped. He has the SI7 agent, he has the coin, now he has,
Yeah.
oh man, he has like everything he needs already. Look at that. It's a quite a nice hand.
Yeah, it's a really good start for him. I mean, if he can get to that point and save the coin for Gadgetzan Auctioneer, he's going to be in really good shape. We'll see if he ends up having to use it with an SI7 agent or something, but Sinister Strike, nice to have for the late game, I suppose. Oh,
Indeed.
good for Gadgetzan, too.
Yeah,
really.
yeah, that's the nice thing. For one mana, you get to draw a card and deal 3 damage. Pretty sick.
Yeah, actually, I really like that when you think about it. I mean, that actually synergizes really well with Gadgetzan. Not bad.
Yeah, well, let's see here. Looks like Thijs has a couple decisions to make. He goes for the Unbound. Definitely makes the most sense here, especially since he has that Feral Spirit to help buff it up. And once you get above 4 health, it's hard for Miracle to really deal with it as easily.
Yeah, I do really like that play too, because I mean, if it lives, like you said, it gets buffed, and even if it doesn't live, it's going to take probably like 2 for 1 to get rid of it, because he's going to have to do something to activate and eviscerate, you know, if that's how he gets rid of it, you know, and that's what Thijs is thinking when he puts that 4 health minion out, I guess.
Well, you know, right now I think Hyped is thinking about going for an SI7 agent and the Deadly Poison, or perhaps the Shiv and Deadly Poison. I think Shiv Deadly Poison here is like a really good play to get rid of this 2/4.
Yeah, I like that a little bit better, because you get to cycle, and then you also get to save that 2 damage from the SI7 agent for something that's going to be a little bit more tempting of a target, like a Taunt Totem, maybe late game.
Even better, I would say, is being able to keep the coin for Gadgetzan.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and in fact, he has a Prep and a Conceal, so he could even go next turn Gadgetzan Conceal, which is insanely awesome.
Wow, yeah. He can get a lot out of that.
But he might save it for one more turn, we'll see.
I think we're probably going to see him save it for one more turn. I mean, using that coin with Gadgetzan is just so strong. So what's Thijs going to do here? I mean, you don't really want to just drop the Feral Spirits out of the blue like that. Do you think maybe Totem Flame Tongue just to put a little bit of pressure on and try to pull some more cards out? I mean,
he can, but the Flame Tongue will die immediately.
It will, but I mean, in this matchup, does the Flame Tongue kind of become something to sort of pull cards out of their hand before the Auctioneer comes down?
It could be, but I mean, with the Deadly Poison already on that dagger, it's a hard choice, because if you go for Feral Spirits, next turn is weak.
Oh yeah,
so
I
you're
suppose
gonna
the
have a
Deadly
weak
Poison.
turn. You're gonna have a weak turn either way, really, right?
I was completely neglecting the fact that he had Deadly Poison, but that changes everything.
That's the right totem right there.
That is what you want. Yep. Suddenly that Deadly Poison not quite as strong.
Now this is going to be the cool part. Does he go for Gadgetzan this turn? I think he's actually going to go Sinister Strike SI7 agent and take out the Taunt Totem with that,
Yeah,
and
then he
use
can
his
still
dagger.
kill the... Right. I think that's a good play.
Yeah, it seems pretty strong, because then he doesn't have to use the coin, and that's an extra card to get out of the Gadgetzan the next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there it is. Yeah, Sinister Strike. And like you said, probably going to be going into that SI7 agent. So a little bit of damage on the Thijs as well, which never hurts.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, of course. And really solid turn there from Hyped.
Yeah.
Everything really working out well for him so far. And look at that hand, man. It's so good. Like, next turn,
Yeah.
he can go Gadgetzan, or he could go Azure Drake. That wouldn't be the worst play, because that gives him an extra mana to work with Gadgetzan. And with this many cards to draw off of, that can make a huge difference, especially if your Azure lives and you can use the Conceal on it.
Yeah, he's got a pretty amazing Miracle Rogue hand here, dude. But this makes a lot of sense as well. You know, you get rid of the 3/3, you get another token out. Yep. And it's better than using Rock Fighter and like losing your totem or losing more life.
Totally.
Like, you definitely want to use the Lightning Bolt in that case. And it still won't stop him from playing Azure Drake next turn if he wants to.
Yeah, I think, in fact, that Rock Fighter weapon is going to be saved for turn 9 for Alakir.
Oh yeah, of course.
So here we go. Looks like he is going to start going off and coin right into this Conceal. Wonder if he'll prep as well.
Well, let's see.
I mean, he could prep
What could he
Shiv.
prep? Yeah, he could prep Shiv.
Well, prep Shiv draws him like 3 more cards, so I feel like I would definitely do it.
Yeah, you might as well. There's a Fan of Knives, and that may be, well,
yeah,
not
I guess
quite
it's,
as tempting, because it's not going to really kill anything.
I think I would
the,
Shiv.
Yeah.
Because with the healing totem out, I mean, you can Phantom Knives.
Oh, really?
You will.
Wow, okay. Backstab. Oh, wow. Can't use it, though. I mean, everything's damaged, so... I kind of like the Shiv a little bit better there.
I would... well, the thing is, the Shiv costs less mana. You'd already used, you know,
Yeah.
the prep, so I understand using the Fan of Knives, but Fan of Knives spell power can get rid of all the totems, so
Right,
that's like
right.
just something I would think about, but Hyped is definitely better at Miracle Rogue than I am, so I'm going to try to learn from this experience.
Well, that's the thing, is like when you watch these guys, you have to assume that they're making the right decision, but sometimes,
A lot of the times,
sometimes
but-
the decisions are still a little bit surprising.
Well, I tell you, we've definitely
We've
caught
seen some
a few,
weird
caught
stuff,
a few
yeah.
mislethals here and there.
Man, I mean, I'm doing the China versus Korea thing on OGN, and that's had some weird stuff go on in
Yeah,
that too.
indeed. Well,
This is a good turn for Violet Apprentice.
yeah, he's going to be able to get a token, get out some taunts. Of course, a healing totem going to heal everything up, which is really super nice.
Yep.
And look at that, he's got 3 taunts. Unless there is like a Blade Fury drawn, and you know maybe even more than that, he needs like a Deadly Poison as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of tough. But he does get a prep.
He gets a prep, so he can kind of make something out of this, maybe.
He can do. Look how many cards he can draw this turn. It's actually kind of crazy. I think you open with Backstab and you just start going.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, we'll see. It looks like he wants to do it on the Violet Teacher.
All right, might as well get a little bit of damage done on that. I mean, there is a healing totem out, but he's hoping, you know, maybe he draws into something else with a little bit more damage, but no
Oh,
luck
the amount of
yet.
cards that he can draw here, like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too surprised if he gets into something, but actually his spells are almost completely gone. He's got an almost only minion-based hand. Oh, okay. Well, there's a spell for you.
Yeah.
But he's put so much damage on that Violet Teacher, it doesn't feel as cool to Abyss it.
I agree, man. It's not quite as appealing right now, and you do have to kind of start to worry about how to get rid of those taunts as well.
You know, I think that what you do here is you eviscerate one of the taunts, and then you go for your SI7 agent to kill the Violet Teacher.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes more
And,
sense.
you know, obviously your Gadgetzan can hit something as well. Because you have the same Gadgetzan in hand, you've got so many minions in hand, you're not really
Yeah.
worried about that.
And there's a Fan of Knives again.
Oh, wow.
Not quite as helpful without the spell power, though. That's the tricky part. All right. He actually did eviscerate that apprentice too, and there's a big Van Cleave. But that's so dangerous to do against Shaman. I mean, Earth Shock, Hex, you just can't imagine something like that's going to last.
Yeah, that is true, but you know what? He has this handful of minions, he had 4 mana to work with. I would say that that was the right play. Like, you weren't going to get enough value out of the SI7. You don't need to gain the 3 life right now.
The other thing, too, is that Tice is overloaded down to 5, and having to use a Hex will put him down to 2, you know? So basically, if he doesn't have... The hype is saying if he doesn't have an Earth Shock, and he does have a Hex, that's basically his whole turn.
Yeah, like Totem
So-
plus Earth Shock would basically be it. You're right about that.
Yes, and you take into... when you take all the factors into account, it's starting to look a lot better, too.
He definitely does need to do that, though. We're definitely going to see a Hex, and I would say... probably going to see this Wolf run into the Gadgetzan, right? You can't leave the Gadgetzan out, but with the amount of cards Hyped is drawn, if I'm Tice here, I'm like, oh, I'm dead. There's no way.
Yeah, it's looking a little bit grim. Goes for another totem. Yep, there's a Hex, of course. And so... yeah, you just run that into the Goblin.
That turn played itself, but you know, as you said, you know, this board against Miracle, not doing it for me. It's not doing it for Tice either.
Well, yeah, not enough taunt, really.
Yeah. Well, let's see what he goes for here. I feel like I would just play some minions out, to be honest. Like, see that? Yeah, he can go Blood Mage and Fan of Knives, like we were talking about before. That is,
Yeah.
look at that board clear right there. It's so sick.
Wow, and then that makes it so hard to get that taunt totem back again. You know, now it's a 25% chance again. Back to the start.
And it looks like he's just going to go to face here with the dagger. So,
No, why not?
a very strong turn. Tice with almost no cards in hand. Hype having drawn almost his whole deck. Hey, Miracle Rogue.
What do you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like the deck was designed to do that or something.
You know what?
Yeah, do you just Alakir here?
I feel like I would Fire Elemental, but
Fire Elemental and then,
thing is, Alakir,
Totem?
if you live 2 more turns, Alakir is a kill, basically, right?
well, he does so much damage.
Very
yeah.
close to it. With double Rockbiter, that's 18 damage. And, you know, maybe you could get something done with that.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to choose to just play out some lesser minions for the moment, saving that Fire Elemental probably for an SI7 agent or something.
Wow, he gets the taunt totem too, so...
Good draw.
Yeah, it's something that Hype will have to deal with, but shouldn't really have too much trouble. Okay, so he's at 8 mana right now. He's got 2 damage on the board. I'm bad at math, but let's see. He's got 18 with the double Shadow Step Leroy, but a little bit early to do that on only 8 mana. He doesn't have enough to finish it off, so... Yeah, another Azure Drake. Oh, that's kind of nice.
Sinister Strike, that's a lot of
Yeah.
damage. And, of
Really
course, you know, that Blade Fury does 3 right now.
Yep.
He can kill Azure easily.
Yeah, he can do a lot of damage at the moment. Could also just SI7 is. Oh no, he couldn't actually. Never mind. Never mind.
SI7, what, the totem?
Well, no, I was not looking at his mana, so
okay.
Forget that.
He might use Sinister Strike here, just put damage on. He's got 2 Shadow Steps in Leroy, so like he's actually just gonna kill him. Like he's getting really close to lethal. That's 18 with that, and then if you Blade Fury right now, that's 3 off the top.
I mean, yeah, if Tice has no taunt out, he's just dead. He needs to have some sort of taunt at the end of every turn to have any sort of semblance of a chance of survival.
Yeah, and look at this damage that we see going, right? He's down to 18. That is lethal next turn.
That is so good. He even gets the draw off of Thalnos, too.
Yeah. It's pretty nice. Crazy, man.
Yep. So, you know, I feel like we have to see Alakir come out this turn. I mean, there's just not a way that Tice can kind of survive. Would he leave it up to the chance of getting another Taunt Totem? I mean, you need something with Taunt out.
I think I would leave it up to that chance. Just because,
just to go for the kill rather than...
I think I would go Fire Elemental on the Drake, and then use Earthshock on the Drake, and go for a Totem and just cross my fingers.
Yeah.
But
well, at this point, you do need to think about, you know, not just surviving, but how you're going to kill them too, you know?
You have to be so lucky, because look, how many cards are left in his opponent's deck? Like 2 or 3?
Yeah.
So you can almost name every card in his hand.
Oh, yeah, of
And
course.
you know there's going to be a sap in there, right? There has to be a sap in his hand by now. He hasn't used one.
Yeah, I mean, Tyson knows that he's dead.
Actually, this makes a lot of sense, too, because this at least gets him out. But, I mean, as we can see, there's not much hope here.
Yeah. Pretty much. Let's see. Oh, there's a nice Cold Blood. That's fun to have.
Well, he already had 18. Now he has 22.
So we can assume that that'll be sapped. I mean, because I guess if he decides to spend the spells to get rid of it, it's gonna delay him another turn as far as the kill goes. But I could even get the kill.
I think he's gonna go heal himself with Earthen Ring, SI7 the guy, and then eviscerate the guy.
My math is just so off today.
That's okay.
I can't count today.
Math is hard. Math is hard. There's a reason why we're commentators, not mathematicians.
That's right. If I was a mathematician, I'd be like the Ian Malcolm Jurassic Park mathematician, though.
Oh yes, life always finds a way. Stuff like that.
Chaos theory and all that, you know.
All right, so he is going to go ahead and remove Alakir. That's really the scary card here that does all the burst damage. And one Rock Fighter gone and him at 20 health. I'm quite sure both these guys are 100% sure Hyped is going to win.
Oh yeah. I would be too. It's just kind of a matter of time at this point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Flame Elemental, probably hope that he gets a Taunt Totem. No, that's not a Taunt Totem. Probably Lightning Bolt the other guy, and that's going to be game right there. Hype able to do just silly amounts of damage. 22 damage this next turn.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 8 for 18 with Leroy double Shadow Step, so even I can do that math. That's it. And Tice, with the well played, as soon as he sees Leroy, there it is.
Yeah.
The final left click, and that will do for game number 1. So Tice, our reigning champion, will start this series off down a game to Hyped.
Yeah, not the first time he's done that, though, so don't worry too much, Tice fans.
It's happened before, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely can come out of it if anyone can.
That's right. Well, this Leroy combo lasted longer than I thought it would. All right, there. Oh, okay. There we go.
Takes a certain amount of time.
Final Leroy, and that is it. Hype takes game 1. Well, guys, that was game number 1, and Hyped up 1 game after a victory at the Miracle Rogue, but Tice is bringing in Handlock this time.
That's right, and Handlock, generally speaking, everyone agrees that Handlock is one of the hardest matchups for Miracle, but
certainly.
Some people have been theorizing lately that that's just because all the Handlock wins against Miracle are blowouts, and all the Miracle wins against Handlock are very close, so it might just feel that way, but at least in my experience, this is a ridiculously hard matchup. Look at the health on these minions. You get out like a 4-9 or 4-10 Twilight Drake. How do you deal with that?
There's so much taunt and there's so much high health, like you're saying, and you know, sap is only going to get you so far. If you like misuse that sap the least little bit, you're just not going to win. You're not going to be able to get through things. And
with 2 Shadow Flame, you can just clear out anything that's concealed. So it's like, you know, definitely everything you need to beat a Miracle Rogue is in this deck, and it's the thing is, there's nothing really weird here. I guess the weirdest thing about this deck is it has Ragnaros in it, which we don't see as often, but sometimes you see it in these handlock decks.
I feel like I've been seeing it a little bit more and more. It's interesting to see too. You know, the handlock kind of goes a little bit forward and then a little bit away from like being bursty too. I mean, I just saw a version that I'd never seen before this last weekend that had an Arcane Golem and 2-power Overwhelming. So maybe not the list that I would recommend, but interesting to see people kind of going towards that sort of more bursty style as well. But this is just straight up lots of big creatures, lots of taunt. It's going to be really tough for Hype to make it 2-0.
Yeah, it's I'm actually really interested in what you just said about the Arcane and 2.
I've been wanting to kind of try it. I don't think it's quite as solid.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't seem as consistent, but it seems like it's probably a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, burst potential is like the most important thing in Hearthstone. That's like how all the best decks kill you is just through burst.
You need to have something that does like 15 plus damage in one turn right now, it seems like.
Yeah, and that's maybe why Paladin isn't any good, because it doesn't have any of that.
Quite possible.
Well, my prediction here, Daw, is Tice takes this game. I think he'd have to get a pretty bad draw to not do it.
Yeah, it's a pretty favorable matchup for handlock. So I guess we'll just have to get in the game and see if Tice can tie things up. Welcome back to the iHeartThru King of the Hill Game 2 between Hyped and Tice. And Hyped coming in with a pretty favorable matchup in handlock. We'll see what he gets, though. Not the strongest hand early on. Had to drop everything. And okay, there we go. There's a Twilight Drake, so things feeling a little bit more comfortable at least. Not the best hand, but...
Twilight's pretty great.
Yeah, you want to have either Twilight or Mountain Giant in your opening hand if possible.
Well, as far as this hand goes, let's take a look. He's got a lot of damage in here. The thing is, do you it's hard to mulligan this correctly, because how do you play against... He knows that this is handlock, by the way, because the easiest matchup in the whole world is Miracle Rogue is, in fact, Zoo. So, you know, it's hard to say exactly how you want to mulligan against handlock. I've seen a lot of different theories. The one that I really like is Strife Crows, where he keeps minions against handlock, and he just gets minions on the board as quickly as possible. So that's like kind of interesting, but I don't know, man. We'll see. With a backstab and a coin, that Van Cleef could get very big very quickly.
Yeah, he could. It's interesting to kind of think about it that way, and that's the thing with Hyped is that besides the saps, Van Cleef is big too. Oh, and there's a big draw in the Mountain Giant for Tice.
Dude, he has a Twilight, he has a Faceless, and he has a Mountain Giant. Like, he just... If one of those two threats lives and he goes for the Faceless, what do you do as Hyped here?
Well, that's the thing is, if you get down these Giants early on with these Twilight Drakes, like, it takes so much from Rogue to deal with them that it really makes their Gadget Zan turns a lot weaker later on in the game anyway. So even without the taunt, these guys are still really terrifying for Hype to deal with.
You spend your hand, basically. Like, killing the first thing isn't that big a problem, but the second thing and the third thing get really hard because you just run out of resources before you can start drawing.
Well, it's always 2 for 1 or even 3 for 1 sometimes like this with Rogue against handlock, and that's what makes it hard. So Hype deciding what he's going to do this turn.
He's considering a lot here. He's considering possibly coining out a minion, but I think the real question was, does he dagger, does he throw down a Blood Mage? Saving that Blood Mage for later, just in case, for like a bigger backstab or a bigger eviscerate. Probably a smart move.
You really do need every point you can get as far as the damage coming onto your opponent from Rogue this time. Alright, so let's see what he does. Down to 3 mana now.
I think you just play SI7 Agent.
Yeah, you just get bodies on the board, but there's Blood Mage. Okay.
That's fine. I can't really see anything about that. That's kind of like the other play he was really questioning about the turn before.
You know, that's a good play, because the thing is that he knows turn 4 is when one of the big creatures are going to come down in handlock, so that means Thalnos is basically guaranteed to live for next turn, which is going to give him more damage, and hopefully make him more efficient against killing it. So I actually really like the Thalnos set turn.
Very well said. Now, it looks like he is going to go ahead and use this backstab, likely.
Yep. 3 damage backstab now, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, it definitely does change things. And the Cold Blood, this is a move that I've used a lot as well to try to get rid of these guys. But here's the thing, he's going to have to hit it with his face as well in this situation, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, he's
He could, SI7, he could have shivved it as well. But just plays Van Cleef, and he will take 4 to the face. It's not a big deal.
This was really good play, though. He has a 6/6 out now. He dealt with the first guy. Maybe there's not a second guy. Well, unfortunately for him, there is definitely a second guy.
There is a second guy, yes.
Well, here I think he's considering just possibly using the faceless.
I was wondering about that, yeah. Because it does theoretically make them trade.
I think he's also considering drawing and then playing Mountain Giant. I think that that's a really good play, but you got to be careful with your life total as well.
Yeah. You know, in this particular case, I actually kind of like the faceless. The reason is because it kind of makes them, again, either use more cards from their hand or just straight up trade, but he will go ahead and go for the Mountain Giant.
Well, that is certainly annoying.
Yeah, it seems like it's just not going to have a very high chance of living, though.
Yeah, I mean, he can kill it off, but he has to use the Van Cleef. And that's a victory for Thijs, I would say. You know, that's... You know, you're definitely forcing a lot of resources out, but so far Hype has played this quite well.
Yeah, I would say so. Now, what do you think about this turn? You Sinister Strike into SI7 Agent on the Mountain Giant and then finish it off with Van Cleef. That's 8 damage, and you end up with a 3/3 on the board at the end of it?
I think that's exactly what I would do, to be honest. Because now he's played 2. You don't expect him to have another Twilight or Mountain in hand. Okay,
Yeah.
He's played 2. He's not that deep into his deck. You're probably good.
Yeah.
But actually, yeah, I like the Shiv better. It's more mana efficient, draws a card. So that actually, obviously, is better than the Sinister.
Cycle's a little bit better.
Yeah, it's going to allow him to use the gadgets on more efficiently as well. But
okay.
This was, again, it looks like Hype is playing this so far perfectly.
Second Soulfire comes down for Thijs. He's actually developing quite a bit of burst in his hand, too. He's already got the Faceless, Power Overwhelming, like... That plus 2 Soulfires is 28 damage right there. So and Hyped is already at 26. Now the problem is you need to be at 10 mana to do that combo. But all he needs to do is live 4 more turns. I mean, that's a kind of a tall order, I suppose, against Miracle Rogue sometimes. But
like a turn 9 is like a really common kill for Miracle Rogue. So he might do it. He might do it.
Yeah, we'll see. He does have 2 Earthen Ring Farseers too, so he does have a little bit more sustain.
Yeah, I would definitely consider playing both Earthen Rings here.
Yeah, get 2 3/3s on the board.
It looks like he's going to Soulfire first because he wants less of a chance of getting rid of cards that he needs to keep. And actually, I think he would have liked to lose the Molten there, to be honest. Like, Molten is not something you play against Miracle too often.
You generally don't want to give up that Defender of Argus, of course. I mean, that would have been nice to put down between those 3/3s next turn if they lived.
Yeah, that would have been quite nice indeed. That's hard for him to get rid of. Like, he needs a Deadly Poison and a Spell Power and, you know, the thing that kills your weapon and does damage. Oh my god, I can never remember card names.
The thing that kills your weapon and does damage?
Blade Fury.
Blade Fury, oh yes, you're right. There we go. We're both on the ball today, aren't we? Wow.
Oh, sick. Okay, so it's got a couple 3/3s out. Not the scariest thing in the world for Hype.
Yeah, just gonna get the Auctioneer down there, and there's a nice coin Auctioneer turn. No prep though.
No prep, but he can draw a lot of cards here.
Yep.
He's gonna go ahead and use the Deadly Poison, and he got the Blade Fury. Gonna Sinister Strike. If he gets a prep, man, that's pretty insane.
He got the prep!
Oh
wow.
My god.
That really is a perfect turn for Hype.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
It could not have gone better than that.
I can't believe he got that.
The only thing here would be if he got a prep and then the prep got him into a conceal. That would be like just too silly.
He got a Shadow Step, but yeah, the conceal would have been a little bit nicer. But man, what a turn for Hype. That's insane.
Yeah. Now, do you use your Shadow Step here?
Do you?
Your opponent already used a Soulfire last turn.
Yeah, it's unlikely. I mean, from Hype's point of view, that there would be a second Soulfire.
But at this mana, I would count the Gadget's Undead if I don't use it.
Yeah, I mean, there's also stuff that he can do, like put down an Ancient Watcher and Shadow Flame it or something like that. I mean, there's ways to deal with it.
Yeah. I like that he skipped, by the way, because he has 3 card draw cards in his hand.
Yeah.
So he can actually cycle through his deck even without Gadgets on at this point.
Yeah.
So I do like that play. I think that was good. Oh my god.
Crazy me wants to Faceless this
yes.
Soulfire. Yeah, I've got the same thought. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh god.
I'm like, if I was playing this game, I'd be like, this is a terrible idea, but I'm doing it anyway because it's cool.
I would do it.
He still could do it.
I would. I mean, yeah, I think you're right that it is a terrible idea, but at the same time, it's just too cool and fun.
Oh yeah, it's just too awesome, man.
Miracle.
Sometimes you have to
Miracle Handlock.
sometimes you have to give up a game in favor of awesomeness.
Well,
you have to
that's
take a
not
loss.
how Tice is a 6
Not in the,
champion.
I'm not recommending doing that in a best of 7, you know, for like a King of the Hill thing. But on the ladder, sometimes you just have to do something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this is, in my opinion, where you skip dealing with minions as the miracle. I think here you're at 7 mana, you have a lot of cards drawn in your hand. I think you start reducing his health a little bit more, not too low, because you don't want Moltons popping out for free, but...
Yeah, you want to keep him above 15, and that's about...
Draw some cards, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's time to kind of go all in.
And I do like actually hitting the Drake with this.
Yeah.
Because if it removes your Drake the next turn, then it only has 2 health, and 2 health is very easy to deal with that SI7 in hand. So that's... I really like that play.
Yeah, it's really smart. Huh, okay, so some options for Tice here. I mean, I don't think we're going to see the YOLO Rag, but I think we might see the Ancient Watcher into Sun Fury, but we could also see the Ancient Watcher into Shadow Flame to get rid of the 4/4 too.
Yeah, I would save Shadow Flame for now.
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe be a little bit worried about, you know, Cold Blood or something like that coming out on it, but, well, I mean, again, that would be 8, and that would get him down to below 15, so you wouldn't really want to do that. So, never mind.
I could see him playing Rag here and then killing the 4/4 with the 4/6.
Yeah.
Because if you leave the 4/4 out, you might just die next turn at 8 mana against Miracle.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he does keep it out as a 4/2, which is something, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's still something he has to deal with. And Rag, 8 health, how do you deal with him, right?
Well, going into 8 mana with 21 health against a Miracle Rogue is a pretty safe place to be, because, again, you know, 8 mana, really the most they would do is at 18 with the double Lever and Shadow Step, right?
At 9, that's where it gets scary, and they do 22.
Yeah. However, if he just attacks through here, that's a big risk.
That's a big YOLO move if he does that.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay, there we go. That's much, much more logical.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that was a really good play by Tice. At 21, he should feel safe, as you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with the prep already used. Oh, he gets a sap.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's not bad. I mean, he already took 8 from it, but he may want to just save that sap for a taunt, but I think it's kind of do or die time for Hyped.
Well, he's so low that you have to be afraid of Leroy, but
yeah.
He did see that both Soulfires are gone. He did see a Faceless is gone. So there are some things to take into consideration. Of course, he can play some minions out as well.
Yeah.
Like, he could go Azure and then SI7 into the 4/2, and then the Rag has 3 targets it may hit.
Mm-hmm. I kind of like that. I mean, you do kind of want to flood the board against Ragnaros if you don't want to spend a bunch of stuff just to get rid of it right away. We'll see what he decides to do. Gonna weapon up first. There's that Deadly Poison. Yeah, okay. So just remove the 4/2.
Yeah, and he can get to work on the life total coming up pretty soon here.
Yeah.
And he's got that dagger equipped, and of course a 3/3 on the board. And this slows Tice down, because the one thing we are not going to see him play again this game is that Rag. That Rag is not coming back out. There's no way. It's too slow at this point. It was a good play last turn, and I think from now on it's weak.
Well, Tice is just a little bit too low health to do it, but I don't know, what about a Mountain Giant Sunfury Protector right after you saw the sap used?
Oh, that's actually, yeah, that's pretty cool.
If I just saw sap used and I got that draw, I'd be like, oh, well, now I feel a lot safer putting down some of my taunts.
If he had 1 more mana, and he could also play the 4/5 taunt, like, that would be insanity.
Yeah, it would be more ideal. Let's see,
But
so...
he can't do that, obviously, so, I mean, this... Yeah. I think that is a fine play. I think that life tapping is also alright, because you can still do it then. But if he life taps, the taunt really needs to stay.
yeah, totally. But I mean, the thing is that even if the taunt doesn't, it's still, you know, if Hyped has a second sap, theoretically, that would still put him one mana short of doing 18 damage. So I think you're going to feel pretty safe doing this kind of play, either, you know, tapping like this, or just kind of playing whatever you want. Okay, yeah, I like this with the Sunfury Protector.
I think that this is a good play. This is Tice playing to win this game.
Yep, absolutely. And getting that Hellfire, I mean, every little burst helps.
Yeah. Alright, let's see what Hype is going to draw. Definitely very important. Backstab. Not a bad draw, I think.
Yeah, well.
Let's see, like, Azure, then backstab, that's 3, and then 2 from Fan, and then attacking with the 3/3. That kills, and it draws you a card.
Yeah. You do lose your 3/3, I suppose.
Yeah, but you gain. I mean, you have a 4/4 out, which is pretty solid.
Yeah.
And it's your opponent only has a 2/3 out, so it's not like that scary. Of course, your opponent could have the combo to kill you with the Leroy, but you're not counting on that after you saw Faces go away.
Well, that's the thing, is you can never play around a combo like that, because it's late game. Like, anyone might have anything at that point.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Fan of Knives coming out.
Yep, 2 more damage there, and like you said, running the 3/3 into it might as well.
Yeah, it seems like it is the best play here. Do you use Sinister Strike with the spell power? I would say absolutely not. You've got to assume he has a Molten Giant in hand by now. You have to.
Oh yeah, totally.
By the way, he's dealt with everything except 2 Moltens as far as threats go. So I gotta say, like, some people have been talking to me. I think Admirable was one of them, and a few other people were saying things like they think Miracle might actually be okay against Handlock. And I feel like watching Hyped here, I'm like, Tice didn't have a bad hand, and he's played, I think, basically perfectly here. I'm very impressed. Like, maybe this matchup isn't as bad as it seems.
Here's the issue, though, is that he's going to be able to play a Molten Giant, the Ancient Watcher, and another Sunfury Protector as well. So,
Brutal.
I think this is why it's always going to seem pretty tough, man, because that's the thing, is that even if you get rid of their Giants, they're still going to have those 4/5s when they get, and if they get Taunt, or if they become 5/6s from Defender of Argus, that's still pretty significant, even if they aren't Giants.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got a point there, but let's see here. He has Spell Power, he has Eviscerate, Conceal, he has a lot of stuff to work with here, man.
He does, but is it enough? There's 5. Alright. Oh, wow, he gets the prep, man.
Yeah, he's going to just start drawing through and see what he can get.
Yep, why not? There's Leroy. There's Leroy, but can he handle these taunts?
Well, he has one more Fan of Knives in the deck, right? Fan of Knives would be pretty sick. And he has his Conceal
like
still.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
what a draw.
Man.
Dude. Well, that's pretty much exactly what he wanted. That is not bad at all.
Wow. Well, this has been really good. Like, he can Eviscerate into the 4/5 and tuck the 4/4 into the 8/3.
Yep, that's right. Make sure you play the Eviscerate first.
Yeah, he's still got his gadgets on. He's got a Dagger with 3 health. He's got Leroy and 2 Shadow Steps. And he's drawn every card in his deck at this point. This is so crazy, man.
Yeah. Wow, just getting the right draws.
And
you do feel a little bit unsafe. You do worry about the combo a little bit if you're hyped, but, again, I mean, there's no stopping that, so...
Yeah, I know. I mean, he may die this next turn. He knows that, but he's put himself into a great situation. There's 1 Molten left. There is 1 Argus left. So, I mean, with just 1 Argus left, he basically has to kill it this next turn. I don't think attacking that is... Wait, I guess it's okay.
I mean...
It's okay.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
I'm going to take 2 from it anyway, but...
Yeah.
So if he draws Leroy here... Oh, no Leroy. Okay, so if that would have been Leroy, Tice would have been able to win because Leroy Power Overwhelming, 2 damage, and Hellfire should do it.
Wait, if
actually, does
he's
this
got a power, attack in for 6 and play a YOLO Rag.
Yeah.
If the YOLO Rag hits Hyped, he wins. And if it does, he should assume he's dead. The deck is gone. He can name the cards in his opponent's hand within 1 card.
Oh, yeah.
He might think it's like double Earthen Ring. But anyways, he knows that Leroy and 2 Shadow Steps are in Hyped in hand.
I think you definitely YOLO Rag this one, yeah.
You have to, yeah. It's
50-50. Can't really ask for anything more, yeah.
Yeah, he's got to give himself a 50-50. He's just doing some math and saying, okay, does Siphon Soloing my own guy help?
Yeah, it's like, could I try to tap and maybe get a Leroy? It's like,
yeah.
I think he just 50-50.
No, this is the right play. And I guess we'll just see, man. It comes down to a Rag hit.
That's right. Here we go. The end turn button will be pressed. And Rag, where's he going? Oh, he gets it! Oh, man. 50-50, but hey, you got the right one for him. And Tice, able to tie things up 1-1. Alright, guys. Well, wow. Sometimes YOLO Rag is all it takes, and Tice ties up the series. That was a pretty sick game, man.
And you know what? Tice played it phenomenally. But I have to say, I was really impressed with Hype. He really made all the right choices. It started to change my mind. Maybe the matchup isn't quite as bad as it feels when I play it, when I always lose it. I still feel like Handlock has an advantage, but maybe it is not quite as big as people kind of assume it is. I still think it's there, though. I think Handlock is always going to have an edge at least. You got to at least have a good enough hand to deal with the first couple guys. And I mean, he had the right cards, and he had the right deck, and good work on Hype, but Tice did take it with really good play in that 50-50 Rag shot on the last turn of the game. So it's
Hearthstone, man. That's what happens. But I'm getting hyped about this game 3 because Hyped is bringing out the Freeze Mage, and it's not, we've seen a lot of the Giants variation lately, but this is more the classic sort of Freeze Mage.
Yeah, he skipped out on any sort of Giants or anything like that, but it's a super solid deck, as you can see. He's got a ton of card draw. He's playing just the 4 secrets, the 2 Ice Berry and 2 Ice Walk. We've seen some various vaporizes in there occasionally. Yeah,
and sometimes 1 vaporize people work in. It's kind of crazy.
And a lot of times I was actually placing a polymorph.
Yeah.
Just as kind of like a, get rid of something big.
Well, that's the thing, is that like it has a similar effect basically. Polymorph and Vaporize, they both get rid of something. It's just Polymorph is a little bit more selective, but you have to deal with the 1/1. So there's a bit of a trade-off depending on what you choose. I mean,
a little bit more mana as well.
Yeah,
but
Vaporize is one cheaper, and you don't really know what's going to hit it too. People can kind of play around it a little bit, but I got to say that I am disappointed with one thing in this deck, and that Hyped hasn't sprung for the dust to get the second Golden Doomsayer yet. Come on, man. Come on. If you're going to have one Golden Doomsayer, spend the dust. Get the second one.
Well, a Golden Epic does definitely cost a lot.
It does, but, I say no half measures, man. I'm going like Breaking Bad on this one.
You would get along really well with Admirable. He's always talking about how he hates people that don't have all the gold cards. So, well,
I definitely don't have all the gold cards, but if I'm going to run a gold card in my deck, I'm going to have 2 of them, man.
Actually, to be fair, that is a mistake when you're playing 1 gold and 1 normal. I'm looking at you, Ecop.
It gives people the ability to see that you have 2 of something in a deck,
Yeah, it's easier for them to pay attention to that. But anyways, I mean, at this level, these guys are memorizing everything as it goes.
Oh, yeah.
These are played on PCs at home. They're probably writing down every card as it comes out anyways.
I would imagine.
But yeah, I mean, this is a matchup that really favors the Freeze Mage. The thing is, how you win with with the Giants deck, with the Handlock deck, you set up big taunts. Big taunts have nothing to do with Pyroblasts, Ice Lances, Fireballs. Like, it just...
I mean, that's the thing, is that
done, right?
taunt doesn't matter when you can just like shoot fireballs into their face, right? And that's kind of the whole idea with Freeze Mage, and really it is kind of the rise of Handlock again that's led to the re-rise again of Freeze Mage. And it's fun to see. It's a cycle of the meta. It keeps rotating.
It certainly does. So I'm favoring Hyped. I think that these guys are.
Oh yeah.
It feels like they've chosen really great decks for the series because we're seeing really strong counters to each deck.
We're seeing a really, really good sense of where the meta is right now from these players more than anything in these 3 games or 2 games we've seen so far. About to go into the 3rd one, and it should be cool. I'm excited about the game. You ready?
I'm ready to.
Let's
do it, man.
Let's get into game 3. And we are back on the iHeartU King of the Hill. Freeze Mage versus Handlock. We're seeing some really, really fun decks today, actually. I really love all the decks we've seen played.
Indeed.
Personally, I enjoy playing them.
And I really like this build of Freeze Mage, to be honest, by Hyped. With that Novice Engineer, I think that's a really cool card right now.
Yep, that's right.
Welcome back, Novice Engineer, the card that used to be 2 of in every deck, no matter what.
I think you could use a couple Leopard Gnomes, but it's still okay,
Geez, you're so funny.
Best card in the game, dude. Belongs in every deck.
Well, this hand from Tice is really solid, and with that Mortal Coil, he's going to be able to deal Novice Engineer and draw a card next turn.
I would say so, yeah.
Because, of course, you're going to play that Novice Engineer right off the bat.
Yep, that's right. Have you finally accepted that it's not an elf?
Look at its ears, Doe. We've been over this. It's an elf.
More than just elves have pointy ears. This should be obvious.
It says Doe without pointy ears. Oh.
I'm not an elf or a gnome, though.
Exactly, but if you had pointy ears, you'd be an elf. Now,
but that's because I'm tall. If I was short, I'd be a gnome. Oh, okay, so he goes for the Ancient Watchers. Interesting.
Okay, I think I know why. What he's doing here is, I guess he's going to get some...
He's going to silence it next turn, actually, I think.
I guess he could do that, couldn't he? That gets his attacks going, and the thing is, he can go silence plus card draw, because he knows he doesn't need silence against Freeze Mage. That's really good. I think you're right, though. That is what he's going to go for.
Well, the thing is you really need to play this aggressively, weirdly enough, from a Handlock point of view. So I guarantee you, there's the owl. Yep, he's just going to put pressure on early because he knows that some of the freezing, some of the removal is going to take a couple turns to get rolling. So I really like this adjustment in playstyle from Tice.
It's really smart, and it lines up that Mountain Giant for next turn as well. That's really easy, and he still has a lot of high health minions in hand. Yeah. And all the Freeze Mage deck does against high health minions like this, if it doesn't play a Polymorph, is basically just slow them down and freeze them.
Well, yeah. And
use a Blizzard, use a Flame Strike.
If you get them to use that stuff early, then they might be in trouble later, so.
Yeah.
All right.
In fact, Hype doesn't like this situation.
Yeah.
He's looking at it, and there's no really great way to deal with it. I think he's going to play Ice Barrier here.
Well, what Tice is basically saying is he's like, it's a 4/5. You can't Frostbolt it. You can't, you could combo it, I suppose, with Frostbolt Icelands. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and Polymorph it. Like, all the stuff that Hyped has to do to get rid of this, Tice is like, yeah, do that. Because I've got Giants coming out later.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm in this situation, right, I think I go Ice Barrier, and then like wait for him to play his next big guy, and then you could coin Blizzard next turn if you need to.
Yeah, I mean,
if he's kind of weak in his hand, then you don't necessarily need to, and you just, the Ice Barrier bought you some time.
Yeah, that is really true. And I think that's the thing, is that you do just need to delay. But that's the whole point of Freeze Mage, right? Is you delay until you can finish him off with big direct damage combos late game. So it's a little bit of pressure, but we'll see if he can handle it. Oh, okay. So he's going to go for that anyway.
Okay. I can't actually argue about this really, because this gets... It prevents the 4 damage, right? And that allows a Blizzard to kill it next turn.
Yeah.
But also he's got a 1/3 out now. And with this Owl, you're looking at it and saying, oh, damn, he's going to draw 2 cards next turn, possibly.
Yeah, quite possible. You have to play the Molten Giant anyway, or Mountain Giant, rather, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really not a better option at this point.
For sure.
Yeah. Although... what if you were to defender between the Owl and the Ancient Watcher, and then use the Owl to take out the 1/3, and then you'd have a 4/3 on the board? That's kind of interesting to think about.
That is an interesting move, but the thing is, the Mountain Giants get locked in your hand. If you don't play it by turn 5, it doesn't come out till the end of the game. So I agree. Get why you didn't do that, but I do like your thinking.
I like to theory craft. I like to kind of look at all the options, even if they're not as ideal.
Yeah,
it's interesting to think about.
I think it was a cool idea, but looking here for hyped, this is a tough situation, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you can coin out the Blizzard and you'll kill 2 stuff and you'll lock up the 8/8, but then you still have to do something about the 8/8 later, and you don't want to have to Ice Lance it or something, because that's what you need to kill people with.
That's very true. I think he's looking at it and saying, is there some way to get a Doomsayer through? I don't think so.
Nah, not without like Frost Nova or something.
I think he's going to use the Acolyte to just draw off this Owl for now, because he needs to have a little bit more information.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
That's the card right there, Duff.
Yep,
that's exactly what he needed.
Yep, pretty much. And here comes the Doomsayer. And is there anything at all that Tice can do? Well, yeah, he can Shadow Flame it, but that would still get rid of his 8/8, so it kind of achieves Hype's goal anyway. Hyped's goal.
Look, it's a great situation for him. Yeah. There's no way. I guess Tice could draw and see if he can get into something else, but that was the perfect draw for Hype. That's what he needed to make this much cleaner.
Yeah.
If he hadn't drawn that, he might have just Blizzarded anyways to buy another turn and another couple cards, because you can draw so much with this stack. So.
Huh. Yeah, I should do that.
Oh, rough.
Could always Leroy Mortal Toilet.
Oh boy, that's called desperation.
Yeah.
All right, so, this is looking way better for Hype now. That Doomsayer can just slow you down so much.
Oh yeah, I mean Doomsayer a lot of times becomes take an extra turn, because they just can't play much of anything.
Exactly. His board is empty, and the only charge he plays is Leroy. So and especially at 7 mana, he can't even play a Rag this turn to hit with. So
yeah, you just go ahead and play the Twilight Drake. It looks like. Yep. Okay. It's a 4/10. That's pretty significant.
Yeah. I mean, you got to do something against that, and he needs to prevent that 4 damage too, because that's some scary stuff.
Yep. Certainly is. Alright, so there's an Ice Block. That's a good draw for Hyped. Certainly something you want to see, because usually with this type of deck, you do end up needing, one Ice Block turn to kind of finish it off.
Yeah, that's very true. If your Ice Blocks are your bottom 2 cards in your deck, you're not going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
There's a lot of things he can do here. Now, he already used 1 Frostbolt, so that's out of the question. He needs to save that most likely for Ice Lance.
I like using the Arcane Intellect first just to see what you get. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. I would say, Ice Barrier. I think it would delay.
Even a Mirror Image isn't terrible here, I think.
Mirror Image is okay, but you just worry about it being dealt with by Hellfire really easily.
Yeah, but that's him dealing some damage to himself as well, I guess. And it would kill his 2/3, so it's not all bad. But yeah, a Hellfire plus Mortal Coil would actually be perfect in that situation.
The thing is when you're playing a deck that's Alexstrasza based, them doing damage to themselves from 30 to 15 just doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, a lot of times that's quite true. But I think you're right. We definitely could see Hellfire and Mortal Coil.
Well, yeah, he's got the Hellfire in his hand.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Not a terrible play.
Yep. Doesn't really know what that secret is, and I know it's out there, but you do see counter spells every once in a while. Every once in a while. So you gotta think carefully about it.
I think Tice would be shocked if Hyped from Temple Storm was playing a counter spell. So that would be the ultimate tech.
He'd be like, "What is this, Korea?"
So bad it's good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Interesting. I kind of like this though.
Yeah, you know what? It's not too bad because he knows he's not dying next turn.
Yeah.
And getting that's a huge amount of extra damage on the board.
Good thing that secret wasn't mirror image.
That would be funny.
You know, and I actually like that it killed the creature too. You don't need to get the 8 damage onto the mage right now. It's much better to get the 4/4 off the board.
Do you try to Doomsayer this turn?
You like my invention?
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the longer you wait, the less likely it's going to be able to work. So you might as well do it now. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
I mean, this is going to be probably. Let's see. He's got 9 mana. I mean, he could Hellfire, Shadow Flame. The let's see.
I think he Mortal Coils the 1/1.
Yeah.
Well, you've got covered over Leroy.
You've got a lot of mana to work with in this case, so it's not a big problem. I mean, you don't really want to Shadow Flame the 4/10 just because it's a lot of health to sort of burn through. But if you do, then you can Hellfire and finish off the Doomsayer. That is 7 damage.
Whoa.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, he does have Leroy here.
You know, Leroy is definitely not as much of a priority, in this particular matchup, I would say.
Yeah, well, I guess that they can stop the burst of their secrets for sure, but...
Yeah, there you go, and then you can just Mortal Coil it, yeah.
You know what, this was actually, I don't know why we didn't just say this was the right move, but it seems like it was.
Hey, I suggested the Leroy Mortal Coil on the first Doomsayer, but it's a little bit different. Okay, he still gets 8 damage through for Ragnaros, so...
Do you know what we might see next turn is double Faceless on Rag?
Oh, yeah, dude.
That would be... That's like Reddit-worthy stuff right there,
That'd be amazing, man. I mean, what do you do against that?
That'd be amazing.
You cannot stop. Yeah, that's right. You cannot stop the triple rag,
This is pretty tough. You got to look at this situation. Now, Leroy's gone, but that is a good 14 damage that you can see.
Yeah.
You need to do something. You probably have to play a secret here.
Oh, well, you certainly play the Ice Block. You're way too likely to die.
Well, and sometimes you play Ice Barrier first.
Yeah.
Because, like, if he plays Ice Barrier, I guess if Tice somehow knew it was an Ice Barrier, he would just triple rag and laugh.
Well, with 9 mana, I mean, yeah, you do Secret and probably Blizzard here. Because you have to, I mean, even though it's only 6 damage outside of rag, you have to worry about it still. Because with Handlock, there is a lot of burst in there, even though they did see Leroy. Yeah, even though you saw Leroy, though, I mean, the Hellfire is still a big threat.
It is very true.
Yep. And Faceless, too. I mean, he's got to be thinking about Faceless on the rag, too.
Indeed. That's definitely something he's considering right now. This is actually a really tough situation for Hype. Normally this deck has a good matchup here, but this time it's looking really tough.
And he will go ahead and Ice Block.
Yeah, now if this Ice Block doesn't get triggered this turn, that's gigantic.
I'm pretty sure
I would be really surprised if he does not double Faceless this rag.
Well, yeah, man, you just double Faceless, then you hit the 4/4, and you are guaranteed to trigger that Ice Block and trigger whatever it is, And if it's the Ice Barrier, you're not going to activate it at all. You're just going to kill him. Yeah, you don't attack. Yeah.
Because if that's an Ice Barrier, you win, and if you attack, he has more health than if you just let 3 rags hit him.
Yeah, you definitely.
3 rags brings him to 2.
You definitely do not attack.
Yeah, 1,000,000,000% you don't attack. Oh,
he attacked.
Well, that was, I would say without a doubt that was a mistake, but it's not going to matter, I don't think. But
well, 8 times 3 is 24, so I mean.
The thing is, it would have brought him to 2 health instead of 8, and 2 health with Hellfires. Even if this whole board got cleared somehow, he'd still kill him.
I suppose. It doesn't really matter at this point, but yeah, I probably would have not attacked.
I mean, if he did clear the whole board, he can't kill him next turn.
Yeah.
Because he only has 6 damage in hand. I mean, maybe he draws more, but still.
Yeah, well, there's not a lot you can do against triple Ragnaros, is there?
I don't think so.
No, not really.
Pretty sure not.
Yeah, pretty positive.
He's gonna dig, but
he doesn't have 2 polymorphs though.
Yeah, and if he did, he doesn't have mana for it anymore.
Yep. No Flame Strikes. No. Well, that wouldn't really help anyway. I mean, just no Doomsayers.
And
he would need he'd need a Doomsayer, and he'd need it to live.
He would need 3 Naturalizes here.
yeah, that's right. He needs it to be Arena basically to win this one, and it's not. This is about as far away from Arena as you can possibly get.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is smart of him to just dig. Like,
Yep.
you should always dig just in case you're not thinking of something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. And Tice is going to take this one. Really well played. It was
Yeah.
a tough game for Hype, I thought.
What a great series, though. Tice in the lead, 2-1. All right, guys. Well, Tice, our reigning 6-time champion, has taken the lead again, 2-1 against Hyped, and Hyped bringing out the Face Hunter.
Yep. Not a whole lot to say about this. He's playing a lot of traps. 2
Yep.
freezing, 2 explosive, and a misdirection. He's got the leper gnomes in here.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a fairy dragon, which is kind of cute. And only 1 animal companion, but I mean, yeah, it's Face Hunter, you know?
You know, it seems very tooled to be good against Miracle specifically, but it does
Yeah.
have its other uses as well, and it should be, theoretically, it should be fast enough to handle this handlock.
Yeah, I would definitely feel confident counter-picking this with that. But then again, I think that the Freeze Mage was even a better pick against this, and it still didn't
Yeah.
work, so...
Well, sometimes you've got the counter, and you know the cards just aren't with you, and sometimes the decisions are a little bit different, and yeah. So Hype finds himself down a game, and we'll see if he can tie it up. It's going to be another good game, I'm sure. I'm ready to see it.
Let's go.
And here we go, game number 4. And uh-oh, no video for Hype, bummer, but we will get to see Tice at least.
Aww.
And this
This is gonna
it's
be
gonna make it
weird.
tougher to cast, yeah, for sure.
Indeed. Well, it'll be a little bit different.
Mountain Giant, you gotta keep it. No,
I
maybe
think you
don't.
throw it back. When
Really?
I'm playing against Hunter, if
Oh yeah, I suppose.
I
against
would
Hunter,
like
yeah.
Molten Giants, not Mountain Giants.
Yeah,
Like,
or Ancient Watchers are okay.
yeah, that's good against Face Hunter.
Yeah.
You can't complain too much about that.
All right.
So, all right, we'll see how this goes. Again, sorry, no video for Hypes.
Sorry, no video. It's very stark. I mean, let's kind of like nice up that text later and make it look a little bit more friendly. You know? It looks very foreboding here. You know, like Hyped
I
is,
guess you're right.
Hyped is in this like zone of sadness right now. You
Yeah.
know, where no video or light exists.
Well,
That's where hunters deserve to be, though, in my
I,
opinion.
I guess though, you know this. we get to live this just through Tice's side.
I guess so. We get to feel what it feels like to be a 6-time iHeartHU champion right now.
Yeah. Now, do you coin out this Sun Fury? It's like a Strife Crow-esque move. Do you do it?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
Well, I mean, I think you want to use it for the Ancient Watcher. I think if you
I-
coin out anything, you
but I-
coin out the Ancient Watcher.
I disagree with that. I think that, yeah, you could do that. You could. I think I would coin him out though, because unless your opponent gets a Misha,
Uh huh.
then I think you're happy with
Oh.
the 2/3 out.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, creatures. One single creature is tough for hunters to deal with. That is true, no doubt. But do you give up the possibility of having this taunt? You know,
Well, you have a Defender of Argus in hand, so
Yeah, I
you can always
suppose.
go like, oh, well, he goes with your play, but
it's a safer play. I think it's a less aggressive play, which makes me surprised that I'm advocating it to begin with. But that's not normally what I would do. But yeah, I think it is a safer play. Well, that was
Okay.
weird. We were like arguing points that usually would be the opposite for each of us.
yeah, that is true.
I'd
but
be arguing the aggressive
I-
one, and you'd be arguing the safe one.
I like getting someone out there to work with. Like I mean, okay, he's gonna get it out there the next turn to work with.
I mean, if you're going to coin out the Ancient Watcher turn 1, you have to follow it up. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're kind of just like, all right, well, you used my coin for nothing then. Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, we'll see how this goes from a Hyped. You know, he obviously has a lot of various cards in his deck that can help deal with this.
Yeah.
He has the Hunter's Marks. Of course, he has like all sorts of traps in here. Like he could get a misdirection and mess this up. But here's
Yep.
Animal
Oh,
Companion.
Animal Companion.
Hey, it's
Oh,
Misha.
he gets Misha. All
What did I
right.
say about Misha being bad news if you've got that Sun Fury out?
Oh, I was hoping for the owl to get the silence, but oh well. Soulfire will work as well, and he gets rid of the Power Overwhelming. That's a little bit annoying, but you definitely want to keep the Defender, I think, above all else right now.
Yeah, the Defender definitely going to come into play
Yeah.
a bit later on, no doubt.
All right, just a little less bursty, but you know, I mean, you don't need to be quite as bursty against Hunter. You just need to survive, you know.
Yeah, if he can survive and get his Mullins out, you like kind of win the next turn a lot of the time.
Yeah, definitely. So here's the question then: do you just sit on that Defender of Argus until your Molten gets low enough to play it? Do you just save that for a big last game, like coup de grace kind of? It's like, well, there now you can't deal with the Giants. GG.
You definitely save the Defender for now. Like
Yeah.
I would leave the board looking kind of like this for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could see him playing like an Earthen Ring or something at some point.
Well,
but
the thing is Hyped is moving into that turn 5, so you don't want to give him 3 creatures to then Vulture Unleash with or something like that.
yeah,
So,
that could be deadly.
yeah, you gotta play it safe at this point.
All right, so we'll see what. Can't tell what Hyped is really thinking about right now. But at 4 mana, what are some common things? Well, you know. You might be thinking about a secret
Multi-shot. No, okay, Wolf Rider.
He probably has used Arcane Shot in hand.
Yeah. Oh, no, he doesn't have it. Okay.
So he's setting up for a flame trap thingy, whatever that thing's called.
Now,
I want to see the Defender come down.
Yeah, you do.
This is such an obvious play.
It brings it up above Explosive Trap range.
Yeah.
I think that's quite good. Yeah.
And that just makes him use another card on that, and you know, gives you an additional taunt as well, a little bit more damage. I think it's a cool play, but Tice disagrees, just wants to draw a card here. And you know what? Draw your cards while the drawing's good. His life total's still easily high enough for him to do this.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about last turn as well, too, where you don't want to give them 3 creatures on the board coming into a turn 5 against Hunter.
Sure.
It's just a little bit too dangerous as far as the draw potential for Hunter goes.
But here, I feel like we're going to see like a bow explosive trap, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
And that's going to be a 3-charge bow and a dead 4/2. But the thing is, he can always play the Defender of Argus after he sees. Oh, double Wolf Rider. Okay. It's. I mean, that's fine.
There, that is.
The Defender of Argus would have been a really terrible play then.
Yeah. I would agree. Okay, so not a whole lot to do other than maybe you life tap. You know, you definitely just attack. I don't think you play anything out of your hand at this point. I don't think you use that Defender of Argus.
Yeah, you don't use the Defender yet. Do you life tap at 22 with this many cards in? I think probably you do.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is Hunter, you know, there's been a lot of cards used for Hyped. He's already used both of his Wolf Riders to take out a minion. I mean, that was 2 Wolf Riders for an Ancient Watcher. That was a really good trade. And that tells Tice that Hyped is a little bit desperate at this point, and I don't think the combo potential is there. But, all right, Tice going to take the opportunity to get a little bit aggressive, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, he has a 3/4 taunt and a 2/3 out. That's like kind of hard to deal with. We'll see what Hyped has to say about this. You know, the thing is that he did show a lot of desperation. 2 consecutive turns of Wolf Rider into a 4/5 taunt that can't attack you. Yeah. That is desperation. So to get another one out there, very annoying.
Ooh, do you just faceless the 3/4 taunt now?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, was that bow like a strong play? No, not really. That's not what he wants to do here, so...
Yeah, I mean, the thing is even if there's a big Unleash combo right now, it's probably not going to kill these minions, and the damage is coming in fast and furious. So what Tice is hoping is that he can live through this, and then continue to do more damage.
I think he'll clear these taunts rather easily. Like, he should be able to get a Hunter's Mark out of this.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine he's got like 1 or 2 in there now.
Well, 1 will do it because he's got the bow to kill the other one with.
Yeah,
but that's a lot of damage he's taken, too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, it would be another 3. It'd be down to 15. In theory.
You know, Tice does have some good cards in his hand to deal with stuff like this. He has double Mortal Coil.
Yep.
Very good.
Shadow Flame as well would clear everything if he wanted to just kind of get it all in one fell swoop. But I think you want to cycle the Mortal Coils at this point for sure.
Yeah, I would say so.
If anything lives.
So 100's Mark, definitely use the bow on the other one. I would like, even if I had a second 100's Mark, I would consider saving it for a Giant or a Drake.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, 15 health is a dangerous place to be, but still, they're not really going to be able to combo you at this point just yet, so yeah, you want to save it. Well, let's see. So I think we'll see double Mortal Coil from Tice next turn for sure.
Do you see this? He's really considering if he wants to bring him to 17 as he'll be at 7 mana the next turn.
Yeah.
And I think just the amount of time he's thinking about this is kind of a little bit of a tell. Because this means that he doesn't have a good way to deal with the Molten, I would say, unless he's bluffing, which is like next level that we haven't seen in Hearthstone yet.
I would agree, but I mean, playing a 7-mana Molten Giant on turn 7 isn't the most ideal.
No, certainly not.
Yeah, so I don't think you need to worry about that too much. Yep, just a double Mortal Coil. And, you know, oh, there's Leroy. Okay, does he have, yeah, no Overwhelming, no Faceless.
That's 10, 12, like, he kills him next turn.
Yeah, I like the heal here. I do.
Yeah. Just get yourself out of death range, because he's got 10 damage in hand.
They just used their big combo, too, so, yeah, I think Tice should feel pretty comfortable about this.
Yeah, I certainly would. In fact, I think that this is a fantastic play as well. Because if he only kills 1 minion, then the game is just Tice's.
Yeah.
Tice is playing this really, really well here. And after using that clear, as you said, it's hard to see him clearing this board. And
Yeah.
if he does use his weapon for it, he's dead anyways.
Yep, very unlikely that Hyped will be able to both deal with the board and not take damage this turn. Yeah.
Well,
Unless he has a multi-shot and arcane shot, but I don't think that's going to happen.
yeah, that would be kind of funny to be playing that. We saw the
Yep.
deck list. It's not in there.
Nope.
In fact, I don't think he was playing Deadly Shot. So
Oh, really? Oh, that's kind of
I
interesting.
don't think a lot of
I think
people
you're
play
right,
one
though,
now,
yeah.
but I don't think he was playing it. So
Generally, you do see one.
yeah, a lot of the time. But everyone has their own hunter build too. It's kind of like Miracle,
Yeah.
but even more so where there's a little bit more creativity with it.
Yeah, I think Hyped is kind of coming to grips with his inevitable death here.
All right, so
Another
Unleash.
Unleash.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's gonna play like a flame trap or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Oh no, maybe not.
Or we'll see if he maybe has a Timberwolf or something too. The thing is, I think he's still going to end up attacking that 3/3.
And that's death.
Yeah. Wait for it. Wait for it. He's got 4 mana left too. He's got.
If he plays like a trap, he can live. That's
Yeah.
it though. Hunter's
Oh,
Mark.
Hunter's
Okay,
Mark.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You did have the second one. Probably saving it for a giant, like you said, but in this case, I mean, that might as well be a giant. Yeah. All right, so it is. Oh, and there's a trap. Suddenly, things not so clear cut for Thijs.
Yeah, certainly not. I think that you actually play the Molten Giant this turn.
Yep, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's brought him down to just enough health with that weapon or that
You know,
hero power hit.
it doesn't really make things much worse for Thijs, especially because he saw that second Hunter's Mark just come out. So, yeah, he should still feel very comfortable at this point in the game.
Yeah.
Although,
Gonna give him a little bit extra mana. I don't think he cares about that at all. This
Yeah,
point.
I
He just
suppose
needs to
so.
go for it.
was trying to.
What do you think that trap is? Because if that is not like, what could that be that could win him this game?
Well, Misdirect could be strong.
Misdirect would be really strong. A freezing trap would be really nice.
Yep.
Both those are really good here.
Yeah, the only thing that wouldn't be useful is Explosive Trap.
Yeah, if
and
it's explosive trap, he's just dead.
you'd have to think that if it's Explosive Trap, he wouldn't have even bothered playing it. He'd probably have something else in his
Dude.
hand better, but
In fact, if it's misdirection, oh wow, this is such a weird
Ooh.
situation because
well, here actually you can Hellfire first, then attack in, and even if it is Misdirect, you're still going to survive and be able to Leroy. So
no, he
you
should attack first before
yeah,
this.
definitely don't play it. Don't play Leroy. Yeah.
Do not play that Leroy Tice. What?
Don't you?
What?
Don't you
Really?
do it? Oh.
Really? He thinks it's freezing
Wow.
trap. He thinks it's freezing trap for sure.
I guess so. It is Freezing Trap. Okay, so
Oh, that's a win.
called the odds. Yeah, that's going to be
Yeah.
one anyway. That was a dangerous moment, though.
What?
He's just
Wait,
styling
wait.
on him, man. He can do
Oh,
this and then
okay, yeah, yeah.
Soulfire, yeah.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute, is
Yeah.
Tice gonna miss them? Oh, this is so easy. Anyways, he gets him,
He does, yeah.
and now we have seen this Warlock deck, this Handlock deck, beat both Freeze Mage and Aggro Hunter.
Handlock's pretty good one. Good man. 3-1 for Thijs. Well, guys, things are exciting because Thijs is one game away from becoming a 7-time iHeartU King of the Hill champion. This is like incredible, man. We have the highest before this was 4. So if he gets a 7, that is just insane. But he's got to go through the Druid deck of Hyped, and you and I were talking about this between games. It seems like Hyped is bringing out the right counters for this Handlock, but nothing is working.
Yeah, I mean, after those two decks both fell to the Handlock, I'd be feeling very bad. And to
Yeah.
bring Druid out, like, Druid can fight against Handlock, but like this particular Druid, while it is playing a BGH and it is playing a Faceless and double combo, it doesn't have a Black Knight, which can be very useful. But it does
Yeah.
have a Rag, which is good. I've seen pros on both sides of the fence. Does Druid beat Handlock, or does Handlock beat Druid? I'm on the Handlock beating Druid side, generally speaking. But if you do have the Black Knight and the Big Game Hunter and the Faceless, it definitely, you can win.
Yeah.
For sure. And I could see how some people do think it's favored for Druid. What do you think about it?
I still would lean towards Handlock as well.
Yeah.
I think the threats are just simply bigger, and it requires too much kind of teching from Druid to be able to handle Handlock effectively. The big difference, though, is that now we're seeing all these Druid decks with the double combo, with the double Savage Roar, double Force of Nature, and I think that factor really does change things quite a bit, because if you can get a turn late game without any taunts out, you can usually just combo them to death. So, I would say this version of Druid, like where Druid is now, is better at handling handlock than old Druids were.
For sure, yeah.
But I still feel like I want to give handlock a little bit of an edge. And after this series has gone, the way it has gone, I feel like I want to just give Tice the edge no matter what he plays.
Well, I mean, yeah, if Tice goes 4-1 against Hyped and becomes 7-time King of the Hill, it's like, what?
Yeah, it's a little bit insane.
This is actually just like the Tice show match series. We just like bring in
Tice
peasants
versus the
from
world,
to behead. It's like really weird.
It's like the mountain in Game of Thrones, man. He's just like, they give him fodder to just practice on. But...
something like that. Well, I mean, I think we're both siding with Tice's deck here, but definitely Hyped has the tools. If he gets a nice start, he can take it.
I would love to see this go to more games, but we'll see if it does or not. Time to get into game number 4 or 5. Game number 5, yes.
Game number 5.
Alright, here we go, guys. Tice, if he wins this game, he will become a 7-time iHearthU champion. That is pretty crazy. And Hyped has another chance to do it. Another strong deck, but can he do it? He's got a faster start this game. I'm liking the hand for Hyped, actually.
Hyped has an insane hand. Like, double Twilight Drake isn't too bad, but
I'm liking the hand for Hyped.
Growth coined out into Harvest Golem into Chillwind Yeti, that is like a really good opening. Well, really, really good.
That is like the definition of ramp, man. I mean, he has got everything he needs right away.
Oh my god, and he even got Keeper of the Grove to deal with one of the Twilight Drakes immediately.
Yep.
Can't get better than this. This is exactly what he needs.
It is, the Cenarius himself is with Hyped this game.
He's looking down upon him. No Cenarius in his deck, though.
Nope, that's right. That's why he has the ability to look down upon him. He's not stuck in the deck this game.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a Harvest Golem, of course. Turn's going fast and furious, and Tice, of course he's just going to be coining at this point. Not coining, or tapping at this point.
Yeah, got a life tap a bit. And, I mean, Yeti is obviously coming out here.
Oh,
and then the fact that he can Keeper of the Grove, the Drake that's coming out this next turn, is brutal.
He's going to Keeper the Drake, and then he's going to kill it with the, really with whatever he wants. Probably the Harvest Golem.
Yeah, for sure, I would say. Run that Harvest Golem in. That's painful. At least he can Mortal Coil it the next turn. Play another guy, another Twilight Drake, and then Mortal Coil the Golem. So that's nice. But still, this is like, the board that's being built from Hyped is insane.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the optimal situation for Ramp Druid. Get bigger stuff out faster than you normally could. Mountain Giant, okay.
I like. Do you play the Mountain Giant or do you play the Drake? Because he already used one of his silences.
I think the Drake is still better. Yeah, I agree with Tice.
I like this a lot. Yeah, because next turn he can go Mountain Giant and taunt both if he wants.
And if you put a Mountain Giant out, there's just too high of a chance that it's going to be dealt with.
Well, let's see here. From Hyped at 6 mana, you could easily Argentin. But he can't kill this. He'd just kind of have to go to face. And if he's going to face heavily here, we could see Molten Giants just pop out. And that's always the scary part, right? Where, like, if he were to go completely to face, we can see that would be huge for him because there's no Molten Giant. But if there was, he could just lose because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would lean towards going to face just because I like to be aggressive. And I have to... I always like to be like, all right, well, they're low mana, so the chances of them having what they need is pretty slim. But the safer play is to do exactly what Hype did. Get rid of the minion, have a 4-2, a 4-1 on the board. Pretty easily clearable by a lot of hand locks, but still, the threat is there.
Well, looks like he wants to draw here. And the thing is, he can go for Mortal Coil, draw, and Mountain Giant. Yeah. And that's like just... that's pretty strong. But with the 4-2 out, you've got to admit that that Mountain Giant could be dealt with.
Yep, but if it's not, you've got Faceless Manipulator and then Sun Fury Protector, so you're going to be in pretty good shape as far as taunting goes if this one lives.
That was really good play, though, to Soulfire that 4-2, because now it's an 8-8, and if you don't have your BGH, that can be hard to... Oh my god!
Oh, he got the draw, wow.
Exactly at the moment.
You know, the only sad thing is that he's 1 mana away from getting to Faceless and then BGH.
Yeah, well, I guess you can't have absolutely everything, just everything.
You can't have your cake and eat it too sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes not. That was a brutal play. Tice has to be looking at this situation and saying, you know, I have a much bigger hand, but it doesn't seem to matter.
Not a whole lot.
Well, I mean, you have to clear this board, right? Are you going to Shadow Flame here? If you have these 2 guys out?
Like Ancient Watcher than Shadow Flame, where you could... I would rather Earthen Ring Shadow Flame.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's like... I mean, if a little bit more damage is dealt to you, you might be able to just get out. Well, I guess he's not going to do that, but... I think he's looking to play his Molten really soon, and he knows his opponent's going to be at 8, so
Yeah.
He's not afraid of the combo this turn.
Well, with that defender, he's got a really big taunt turn coming, theoretically, because I don't think Hyped is going to be really clearing anything right now. We'll see.
Well,
I think, you know, there's not a really efficient way to clear things at the moment.
No, and I think Hype doesn't even want to clear things. I think Hyped right now is just looking to win the game pretty soon here. He doesn't have the combo yet, so drawing with Ancient Allure is probably the best play.
Yep, I agree.
And let's see what he ends up drawing here. There's one piece of
Savage
combo.
All right.
And of course, he can clear Giants pretty easily with that as well. Now, does he deal any damage to Tice? Because Molten Giants could be in that hand. He's drawn a lot of cards so far.
Yeah, I mean, you could always trade the 4-2 for the 3-3 and just go 1-1 there. And then maybe just hit for 2, put him at 17. That's not quite as dangerous, but it doesn't really... Well, yeah, maybe it'd mean a little bit more with the combo if you get the second piece of it and they don't taunt, but I would be... If I was Hyped right now, I'd be like, alright, there's probably going to be taunt next turn, so I need to sort of figure out what I'm going to do after the taunt comes more than what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah, you know what? With that 4-5 Ancient Watcher coming out, I'm definitely looking at taunt the next turn.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the damage to face that Hype can do right now, no matter what it is, really matters at this point. He's concerned about what he's going to do after this turn that Tice is going to have right now.
I guess this is really a crucial turn for him.
Oh yeah, totally.
And he didn't leave him with any really great options here.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 damage, like I said, you know, not really going to make much of a difference. Yeah, he can't even do something like Faceless the 4-5 and then play a taunt. He could
Faceless the 5-5 and do a taunt. That's
that's true. He does have 7 mana. Yeah. Ooh, Ragnaros would be an interesting choice. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's worked for him once this game, or once this match, but it was a very different situation.
He's simply counting on the combo not being in hand. Because if the combo's in hand, he simply loses, and that's that.
Yeah, if you get Ragnaros out, it's going to probably trade pretty well if they can't kill you, but.
You know, it's rough. He can't.
Getting 2 4-5 taunts though.
He gets that 5-5.
Yeah.
Then this is like maybe game changing. Well,
that
doesn't work. Now there's Faceless out here. So that's a little bit scary when there's Rag.
Yeah, I would say so. Ah, the swipe. Okay.
Wow. Wow, he can Faceless and swipe.
Yeah.
If you were to Faceless, run the 5-5 and swipe, you can swipe the 4-5 and hit the 4-5 with the 2-1. Oh wait, no, you have to swipe the Rag. You have to swipe the Rag.
Yeah.
Oh, is he swiping face?
Wow, he is. He's going for it, man.
That's not lethal, right?
11.
It? Yeah, it is.
Oh
okay, wow.
Yeah, we're good. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hyped wins,
nice.
and the series does go on.
GG. Well, Hyped takes a game, and so now we're 1 game away from being all tied up. If Hyped can win this one with his strong Druid deck, he may be able to force a Game 7, which we've seen a lot of lately. So I wouldn't mind seeing that again. But Tice has brought out a Token Druid to try to close this out.
Token Druid can be tough to deal with, but I guess one of the cards that's really important here in Hyped's deck is Wild Growth. If he can get his Wild Growth out, he'll just be a step ahead of Tice all game, even though Tice is playing like a completely different type of Druid. But if he doesn't, I mean, the kills from Token Druid sometimes come very early and very out of the blue.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the thing is Hyped really did get like an amazing hand at the beginning of the last game, and you can't count on something like that happening very frequently. So this one is going to be a little bit more closer, I think, just probably based on what the starting hands are going to be alone.
Yeah, that's definitely going to play a big part in it. But can Hyped bring this to a Game 7? We've definitely seen some Game 7s out of Tice.
I'd say it's completely possible, but Tice, man, I mean, he's a 6-time champion. Is he going to be a 7-time champion? I think it's time to find out. I'm tired of speculating. Let's see the game. And this is it, guys. Once again, the moment of truth. Tice, who is playing Miracle Rogue. Okay.
All right.
Not a Druid deck.
Someone messed that up. Sorry about that, guys.
Whoops. All right.
Oh, well, it's a Miracle deck. We know what's in Miracle decks generally.
I guess so.
Okay, so this really does change everything. It's not the Token Druid. I guess Token Druid is his last deck. If he loses this, he'll be using it, I would imagine.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah. So, here we go. It's,
Well.
I mean, okay, so let's take a look at these
Double
hands.
Innervate.
Double Innervate, and then also a Wrath. That's a terrible opening hand.
Yes, it is. So, good start for Tice right off the bat, man.
Yeah, and, I like Batman. And
Yeah, right off the bat, man.
Oh, man, a Mark of the Wild as well. Hype's hand is as bad as it, like, it's just like the worst opening hand. It's so garbage. But Tice's hand is totally fine. He's got like some minions out there and everything.
Savage Roar, man. That does not help things at all.
If we thought about what the worst card to draw here would be, that would probably be it.
Yeah.
Like, this is already looking quite
Now,
bad for him.
if he draws like a Force of Nature this next turn, that's going to be like putting the icing on the bad hand cake.
Wow, well...
And it is... Drew the Claw.
Okay,
so
that's a good draw.
Something he can play, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so, and he can actually innervate Mark of the Wild if he really wants to go nuts with this one.
Oh, God. I think you just innervate Drew to the Claw, and you just hope that you draw, like, an Ancient of Lore or something like that. You know, maybe an Argent Commander.
The more taunt, the merrier, really, at this point. I mean, the more health, the merrier, really, I would say, against a rogue.
I think I would charge it.
You would?
I think I would charge it. I think the taunt is a little bit slow here, and you have to put pressure on the Miracle Rogue, I think. And I know it's only 4 health, and that's the part why you're saying taunt, but like...
Well, let's see what he does.
Yeah, let's see.
He will go for the taunt, okay. And the reason I would advocate that is because I feel like it's so important to suck as many cards out of Miracle Rogue's hand early on as you can, especially if they've got the coin.
Well, I think here you sap, probably, because he used an Innervate, so you're actually, the sap trades for the Innervate, and he has to wait an additional turn, and it's not going to attack, like, for years. So
yep, I'd say that's a good play.
Yeah, I really like that play here. I love sapping things that were innervated. It's just a great feeling. But that doesn't mean that's what he's going to do. Like, he has a lot of different spells here that he could play out and gear up for killing it the next turn, but it's going to use more resources than a sap.
I do really like sapping it, because especially, like you said, after seeing the Innervate, he's going into a 4-mana turn. He can't play it again. So it just kind of, like, pushes that off for a while, so... Yep, I think that's good. Again, you want to take as little damage as possible before you can get that big turn 5 with gadgets and coin, ideally a couple preps or something. Whatever happens.
Well, let's see what Hype draws here. Let's see.
Oh, no, the Druid of the Claw, okay.
Well, I think he plays the old one.
Yeah,
sure.
I agree. You want the versatility. You don't want to take away an option later in the game.
Well, if he plays the 4/6, right, and then you see like a backstab of this or something, then the other one is going to be able to live a lot easier. So.
Yeah, but it's still going to be 2 for 1 from Tice if he wants to get rid of this.
Yeah, kind of hard to get rid of that right now.
Yep, I would say so.
All right, yeah, going to coin out the Azures. It seems pretty obvious here. Still nothing too great going on. Like, if he does hit this Azure with the 4/6, it's pretty easy to Shiv and SI7 the guy. We'll clean that up pretty easily.
Hey, Keeper of the Grove, always nice to see, but not really terribly helpful at this particular point in time.
Now, do you play your other Druid of the Claw, and if you do you play it in taunt mode or do you play in charge mode? If you play the first in taunt, do you play the second in taunt?
I just love playing guys in taunt against rogues. I just think I think if you have something with like more than 4 health and they can't sap it, suddenly it's going to be at least 2 for 1, or they're going to take damage from attacking it, and either one of those is good for you.
Well, it looks like he's considering going Wrath plus Hero Power on the Drake.
Okay. I mean, I suppose that is a possibility too.
I think it's not bad.
Yeah.
Because it keeps the health on your guy, and obviously Tice doesn't have a super easy way to deal with this right now.
Yeah. When I think about it more, I like that, because it does get rid of the creature. It does let you do 4 damage to them yet, and you're going to be at 27 behind a 4/6 taunt, which is not a scary place to be in at all against Miracle Rogue.
Certainly.
Yeah. And the thing is,
you'd be at 28.
And the pressure you'll be able to put on to people is going to give you an option where they're still going to be like Tice is trying to gear up for his big combo turn, right? He's not going to be really doing a lot of damage, so he's going to be taking a lot and worrying about that. So yeah, I like this. I like the aggression that it shows.
Yeah. This was a good way to do it, I think. You don't want. I mean, you don't make a 4/6 and then run it into a 4/4, and it's like, well, I mean, if you're going to do that, you may as well have made a charge, right?
This is interesting. He got the Auctioneer, but now no coin. And so, yeah, I think you just have to start kind of whittling away at these guys.
Yeah.
Another Shiv.
This seems pretty obvious, and that at least puts him in range that the 3/3 can kill him.
Yep.
And he has the mana for next turn to go Gadgetzan and conceal it.
Yeah.
So that's really good because a concealed Gadgetzan just cannot be killed by Druid. They just never play cards that can do that. It's like really hard to get that much AoE.
It looks like Hyped is thinking about Keeper for 2 damage and then hitting it with his hero power.
I think that's a great play.
I think so too. I think
Keep this 4/3 up. Like you can see that Tice is struggling to get rid of it, so just leave it up there. Keep dealing damage to him.
Here's a really crazy thing is that even if this 4/3 gets dealt with next turn, which you know maybe if you're hyped you're a little bit worried that's going to happen, then you can still on turn 7 Mark of the Wild on your 2/4 to make that a 4/6 and play Druid the Claw for another 4/6.
Oh wow, that is right.
Pretty strong board against Rogue.
But look, he is going to remove it, and he does get a couple 3/3s out, so this is still very strong set of cards, and he has a backstab and a conceal in his hand with the Gadgetzan going into turn 7.
Yeah.
Like, if Hype doesn't deal with this board right now, he's going to lose this game, I think, because look at this. Gadgetzan, and then he can cycle through this backstab to draw a card, he can cold blood one of his 3/3s if they're left over, and he can conceal everything. So then he has like a 7/3 and a 4/4 Gadgetzan both concealed. That's insane!
Well, yeah, man. I mean, I think this kind of shows you, too, how when you play Miracle Rogue against a Druid deck like this, you kind of have to... It's kind of like a fist fight, you know? I mean, you can't, like, sit back and, like, wait for the combo and all that. You need to get creatures out there, because your spells aren't going to be enough by themselves. So you need to kind of, like, say, all right, I can't really build up for that big, huge combo this turn. I just need to get bodies on the board and try to control it with my my spells, too.
Well, let's see here. It looks like he is definitely considering Druid of the Claw. I would like to see Druid of the Claw and Mark of the Wild. You know, everyone knows that if you leave any minions out for even a turn for Miracle Rogue, things can go south really quick.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But you know what? He could, if he has 2 taunts out, he could just go for attacking as well.
2 taunts is a little bit different of a situation, for sure.
And a sap has already been used, so you don't have to be too afraid about your Mark of the Wild.
Yeah.
Okay, he's actually going to charge this one. That's definitely going to be hitting... Oh, wait a minute. What is he going to use this on? The 2/4, right?
I would imagine.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Alright, so going to face. With one of them at least.
So only 1 taunt at 3 health. That seems a bit risky, but again, on turn 7, not quite as risky with 26 health. Yeah, he's okay there.
Alright, so Gadgetzan, he even has
Here we go.
prep, man.
Yep, things have really changed around. That prep draw is pretty gigantic. Oh, and another backstab. It's not going to be useful this turn, but...
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably not. I mean, he could backstab his own guy if
I was
he's going to
say, yeah,
someone.
you're probably going to trade it anyway, so maybe you do just go ahead and backstab your SI7 agent for the draw.
Yeah, I mean, you probably are. Let's see what he gets, though. Like, he's going to go ahead and prep here. I like the prep.
Ooh, nice.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
But that means he can't conceal this turn. But
he can Thalnos Shiv on the 4/2 and then run his 3/3 into the 4/3.
And that at 8 mana the next turn with only 3 cards in hand, he cannot be counting on Savage Roar being there to kill him. And
it's a good calculated risk, I'd say, to do that.
Yeah, I like it actually. I really do like that because Shiv. I mean, his hand is just filling right up.
Yep.
Gets
Hey, Sap, that's pretty nice too.
Yeah, not too bad.
Hey, Van Cleef. Not as helpful, but it is something.
And look, at least he gets some damage on him, brings him down to 21.
Now, yeah, okay. He's gonna just go ahead and attack.
Or no, not 21, of course. That's
25.
Summoning Sickness.
Yeah.
Whatever they call it in this.
Preparation to, I don't know.
Well, let's see. Hype to Hearthstone, not the best draw.
And he's gonna have to, yeah, do the draw there. Uh-oh. Okay, so 5 damage on the board.
Oh man, 2 Wild Growth. Yeah. Hype's hand just sucks.
It does. He's had a hard time with that all game. Shadow Step. Hey, that's something you like to see with Leroy. There's also a Cold Blood there.
Yeah, that's 10.
5 plus
16
10.
plus another 4. That's 21 that I see.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the damage to kill him this turn, I think. Yep.
I'm surprised you put that on the Thalnos, by the way. That's like one of the ways that you can lose it to a swipe.
Yeah, that's the thing, is against a lot of other classes it gives him a little bit of a dilemma, but against a Druid with Swipe, yeah, not as much.
Wow.
Big
That
old...
is a big Van Cleef.
Yeah, big Van Cleef. So just a lot of threats for Hype to deal with.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see
well, I guess,
a 7-time champion, man.
It certainly looks that way, though.
Yeah.
But actually, the more I think about this, putting that on the 5/1 allows him to clear a taunt more easily. Because
true.
if his opponent casts a swipe on him, he loses the game anyways. A swipe will do nothing here.
Yeah. Yep, definitely true.
He has to actually like kill him this turn, and you can't. He'd have to have combo plus an innervate.
It's not looking good for Hyped. In fact, it's looking like he's dead. He could still play... Well, yeah, even if he plays the Ancient of Lore and heals, it's still going to be enough damage, because we know there's that Leroy Shadow Step Cold Blood, like, or just Leroy Shadow Step, rather.
It doesn't even matter if Rag came out and hit one of these. It doesn't even matter which one. Like, every single... Like, we'll probably see him go Wild Growth just because he knows he's basically screwed and he's got to dig a little bit, but Wild Growth draws him 1 card for 2 mana. That doesn't do it either.
What's he going to draw? Like, I mean, he already used both Druids of the Claw. He's got no more taunt in this deck.
Yeah. Yeah, you're very right. And
he only had 1 Mark of the Wild, too.
That's all the taunts. That's a lot of times nowadays. There's only 2 to 3 taunt cards total in a Druid deck. So.
Yeah, usually just 2 in a lot of these mid-range ones.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, Mark of the Wild is an interesting little variation. So, Hyped is dead. Tice.
He is. We have to watch and see his last moves, though.
That's right.
Gonna gain some health.
Yeah, and this, I gotta say, like, this has been one of the coolest series we've seen yet.
Yeah, this has been
the games in the series have been so good.
Yeah. And Tice just continues to dominate, man.
Yep, 19 on the board already, dude.
It's like
he's gonna finish him off with an Eviscerate.
He can finish him off however he wants. He has everything in the whole world.
Oh, Leroy.
I'd Shadow Step him just to show him how dead he is.
I would make a weapon, and then I would Blade Flurry, and then I would... Oh, he's gonna do it! And then you're gonna Eviscerate him?
No,
is that
kills him right there.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, he's got... I didn't see he had Deadly Poison.
Look at the overkill that we had here from Tice.
Jeez. Wow.
Well,
that's Miracle Rogue for you. GG, and Tice is a 7-time iHeartU champion. Wow. Well, Tice is apparently just unstoppable.
Well, we should just call this the Tice show, where Tice comes in and beats nerds down. Crazy good play by both sides, I have to say. We definitely saw some luck both ways.
Yeah, that's our son. We always see that.
Yeah, of course. Hyped played very well. I was really happy with this series, even though it only went 6 games. It was a good series overall. And Tice with 7 wins, like, who's possibly ever going to knock this guy off?
I don't know, man. If
he wins one more, he has doubled the previous leaders.
I know, and the thing is even if someone does beat him, which will eventually somebody is going to beat him, but when that happens, how many years is it going to take before we see somebody win this many games in a row again?
Here's the thing, Doa. I disagree with you.
Really?
I don't think anyone is ever going to beat Tice for the rest of time.
Really?
I think he is...
The eternal victory?
Not the StarCraft, the Hearthstone Bonejaw, as you would.
I guess so. Is Tice the next Hearthstone Bonejaw?
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy,
You heard it here first.
Look, congrats to Tice. Crazy good play. His handlock deck was the MVP here, beating 2 decks that it has an unfavorable matchup against. So Hype has to be a little bit salty about that, I would say.
Well, the thing is Hype played really well in this series as well, too. I mean, again, I think some of the games were some of the best played we've seen in all of the iHeartU King of the Hill, but that said, like, Tice is just so good, and he's able to make things work, and he does have a little bit of luck on his side, and all that adds up to him winning 7 times in a row, man. I mean, we've got people's, like, pictures up now with X's, apparently, and we're, like, already out of room on that part of the graphic.
You're gonna have to remake that.
Yeah,
I really like that, by the way.
Me too.
It helps us to remember all the ridiculously good players that went down. Like, those are famous players right there.
It kind of reminds me of those, like, R.L. Stine novels that I read when I was, like, in junior high, and, like, every time, like, somebody died in the books, they'd have their picture with, like, an X over it.
Okay.
It's like, they're not actually dead, but it reminds me of that.
Yeah.
It's Fear Street all over again.
All right. Good old days.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, really?
Of course, yeah. After
Oh, okay. All right, good. All right, I wasn't the only one. Awesome.
Yeah.
Went to the bookmobile and picked it up.
Yeah. All right, well, I mean, I think that's it for us, man. Until next week, and we get to see if Tice can do it once again.
Well, it's a Herculean effort to take out Tice, but it's always fun to watch. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next week on more iHeartU King of the Hill.